you heard the news? Everybody's gonna be voting blue. Yeah, that's right, you know it's true. Everybody gonna be voting blue. If you know what's good for you, then you better get out and vote blue. Yeah, if you know what's good for you, you better get out and vote blue. No matter what you do.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. Shout to the Trucker John live stream, on a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. The Trucker John live stream is gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest brother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest brother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
There we go. I almost forgot. I forgot to shut off the AC. I forgot to turn on the mic. But hey, here we go. Where am I? Am I on? I guess I'm on. I was just doing some stuff, trying to send out, share. I was sharing the show, just like I asked you guys to do. I was practicing what I preach. Now let me make sure. Let me go back. I just need to switch something real quick here. Let's see. I want to go to my main page. I was out here like sharing the shows, checking. I was checking Twitch. We also stream over on Twitch. If there's any Twitch people who prefer Twitch, apparently there are not, because I usually get like 0 views over there. But it is what it is. It is what it is. There, the AC finally shut off. Okay, so now we can have some peace and quiet. Here we are in the driver's lounge. We've got a full house here, 28 watching, 22 thumbs ups. I guess some people left already. But hey, look at here. Let me go to all messages. And we've got Roxanne Armfield. Good afternoon. Let's see. I don't think this is, I have it on all messages. I don't think it's giving me all the messages, because I think somebody else was first. And it's showing Roxanne is first, but I think somebody else may have been first. Anyhow, no biggie. Let me just start off by just reminding everybody, hey, look at, oh, wait a minute. I don't want that one because I didn't crop it, did I? I thought I had one that I cropped. I guess not. I guess I don't. Apparently not. Well, yeah, I was going to just put the little thing here. This is the House Sparks post-show hangout. But here's another thing I'm kind of proud of. Look at me. Look at me over here. Look at me with my 3,000 5-star reviews over there on Uber as an Uber driver. Look at there. Look at me. And look at me over here with my little 5-star rating. Perfect 5-star rating over there. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyhow, Roxanne Armfield's here. You don't like my music is here. What's everyone listening to before the show? Me, Dexy's Midnight Runners. Come on, Eileen. Oh, that had such a double entendre. Walter Makarovich, Trucker John, see all the Republican coming apart from Michigan to Florida being charged with crimes daily now. It's a daily occurrence. Just this, it's the Trump crime family. They're being brought in. It's like that. It's like in Goodfellas when everyone started disappearing. Well, in this case, everyone's being brought in for being charged. The sounds of silence. Yeah, see, I think this chat is starting off, even though I have it on all chats, it's not showing me the very beginning. But anyhow, like I said, it is what it is. Big Hook, the Big Canucks here. Brenda Triplett is here in the driver's lounge. Deborah Murphy, love the music. Hey, Deborah Murphy, thanks for being here. I don't believe I've seen Deborah here before. Just want to say a special hi, special greeting to Deborah. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We got Mish, 56 Nick's Rich is here, like number 14. Good day, truckless. Mish is here. Roxanne, Big Hook, Brenda Triplett, playing with those emojis that I had made, and I'm kind of, not sure about those. If I did, I don't know. I was just playing around with it. And here's Johnny, says Big Hook, Big Hook. Misha's here. I already said that. Jackie's here. Jackie's in the driver's lounge. We got Jolie. Hi, and in the pool. Not a typo. Well, that sounds about right. Hey, I wouldn't mind being high and by a pool. Just saying. It sounds fun. Jupiter Judy. is in the driver's lounge over here saying hi to everybody. Walter Makarovich. Gino Maynard is giving us greetings to everybody. Good to see Gino in the driver's lounge. Let's see here. Maybe I should just see if I can just get that over there a little bit. Something of this nature. You know. Look at there, 5-star rating. Alrighty. Hey, look at there. We got 38 watching, 33 thumbs ups, everybody. Everybody's in the house. Mine is Kevin Anderson saying hi to everybody, checking in. Who else is checking in here? You guys are all checking in. You don't like my music, says the latest Fox News poll has Biden up 2 points on Trump, and Fox News doesn't like reporting. Oh, look at there. I zoomed myself in, and I don't like that. I don't like, oh man. How do I unzoom? I think I zoomed. I guess I'm okay now. I don't know. It looked like I zoomed myself in, but maybe I zoomed back out again. Whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, and I heard that Trump was having a fucking conniption fit over that polling. So there you go. And when Trump's not happy, that makes me happy. Just saying. Let's see. Muted? Am I muted? Or is this? I'm just that far back. You guys can hear me, right? Am I that far back in the chat? Maybe I'm that far back in the chat. Because I know for the first 5 seconds I was muted. You don't like my music? TJ never wears pants. That's pretty true. Only when I absolutely have to. So now we're talking about other shows by Walter. Thank you for bringing other shows. And Texas Paul, Ojeda. Yeah. They're good. They're not as good as me, but they're good. No one's as good as me. Okay, let's just put it. That's not. I'm joking around. I shouldn't say that because then people will think I'm being serious. Let's see. We got Britton Triplet, Gino Maynard, 3,000. 3,000, baby. MJ Daniel, it is what it is. The DJT is a convicted felon and a convicted rapist and a sociopath with dementia. That's a good blurb. If you wanted to describe Trump, that's a pretty good blurb right there. I don't like my music. I was late adopter to Uber. I wanted to support the cab drivers, but there is no comparison. Uber is better. Uber is 100 times, million times better. I hate fucking I've never liked taxis. I've always thought they were scumbags. I've always thought they were overcharged, overpriced. I never liked them. Even before Uber. Yeah, I skip a lot, Nick, because otherwise I would still be on the very first thing, But yeah, because I'm just skipping down because you guys are chatting. You can chat amongst yourselves. You don't need me, for everything, for all the reading everything. But now here's Big Hook, Big Hook, and I was going to mention this. The Nevada judge letting the fake electors off with wrong venue bullshit is disgusting. Conservatives and judges equal criminality. Conservatism and judges, yeah. That is disgusting. It is so fucking disgusting that what that judge up there in Carson City did. She should be like dethroned, de-judgified, debarred, whatever. She's a fucking piece of shit for doing that. It is disgusting, Big Hook. I agree 100%. Roxanne Trucker John, Fancy was number one. That's what I thought, because I was looking earlier, like when the music was playing, and I was going through and I was sending out notifications, and I did see, I could see the very first part of the chat, but then when I came on, on live here, then it wouldn't allow me to scroll all the way back for some reason. So, let's see. Jupiter Judy says, my husband said MSNBC had no orange turd this AM on News Info. Maybe they're getting tired of him too. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they're getting tired of him too. Hey, Paul Mannion's here in the Driver's Lounge. Let's see. So Paul says, howdy TJ and truckers. Hope you all well. I'm not doing my English accent today. I mean, I might do it in a minute, but I got to warm up to it. Hope you're all well. Got hangover today. Oh, whoa. What's the latest with Chrome? Now that you say hangover, I'm going to get right into my English accent. That wasn't that. I don't know what that was. I need, like I said, I should probably warm up a little bit. Hey, Walter McCarver says, Trucker John, you going to get some guests on here would be great. Someday, when I get the right setup, but if I get the right equipment and the right, like right now, like I said, I'm doing this on an iPhone or an iPad, and but if you look back at some of my earlier shows when I was just using a Sharpie and a manila envelope as my high-tech graphics, we've come a long way since those days. So, but eventually, maybe, if anyone wants to come on, I don't know. Now, I know on YouTube they do have a function where you can have, I think, sort of like a side-by-side split screen. If so, I could do something like that. That's about all I could do right now is something like that, probably. But we'll see. Deborah Murphy, I apologize if I didn't mean to call your dad a scumbag. Okay, sometimes I just shoot my mouth off. But I will say that I never did like taxi cabs. I never did like them. I thought they were overpriced. My experience with the drivers, that I just thought they were rude. I apologize if that's what happens when we overgeneralize, right? And I kind of overgeneralize. So your dad was a cab driver. I meant no offense. They're probably great cab drivers, and I probably just ran into a few that were the scumbags. And that's a lesson learned about like overgeneralizing and even stereotyping or even being racist. Racism is basically what that is. There's more to racism than that, but it is sort of an overgeneralizing and stereotyping. It's just, saying that a group of people they're all this thing, That's sort of like bigotry, I guess. So I guess I was being bigoted to the taxi drivers. I apologize, Deborah. But I will stick by the facts. But my feelings that I do like Uber better, and I've always liked Uber better. But yeah, I should not overgeneralize like that. And I apologize. I did not mean to, offend you and your dad and whatever. So yeah, I'm sorry. Midas Kevin says he thinks because he has a brain. He must be on drugs. Oh, what talking about Trump about Biden? You don't like my music says get and learn OBS. TJ, it's not that complicated. I will get it when I get a laptop, a new laptop. I can't run it on this old 6th generation iPad. I've tried, and it just bogs down. It just doesn't work. I do have a laptop, but it's a really old one. And one of these days, I'm going to get a nice, either a Mac ProBook type of thing, or maybe a good gaming type of laptop, or maybe a desktop. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, I've tried OBS, and it doesn't. And it is complicated for me. Look, if you have a big background in computers and all that kind of shit, I'm sure that shit is like no big deal to you. I don't. I'm pretty much computer illiterate. So just keep that in mind. So it takes me a while to get things done, to do things. It's a lot longer than probably most people. Nick Reese says, cabbies can be as normal or crazy as their customers. But even just my experience driving around as an Uber driver and driving side by side with the taxi cabs, I see a lot of crazy taxi drivers. I mean, they're crazy, the way they drive. And that doesn't mean there aren't some crazy or bad Uber drivers, because I've I've heard horror stories from my passengers, because they will compliment me on what a good driver I am, and then they'll tell a horror story about another Uber driver that they thought they literally thought their lives were at stake. So, you know, it's everywhere. Fancy says I need a new laptop too. Yeah, so we'll get it though. We'll get it one of these days. We'll get it going. Let's see. We got Hugger Greeters here. Hello, Hugger Greeter TK, otherwise known as Teresa. Thank you for being here. Good to see the Hugger Greeter in the driver's lounge. Andrew Petrie is here. Good to see Andrew hanging out with us here in the trucker's driver's lounge. Gino Maynard Chromebook for under $300. I don't really want a Chromebook. I know I'm picky. Maybe I'm being picky. I really have my eyes set on a nice, Mac or Pro MacBook or whatever the fuck they call them. So, I like Apple products, and that's what I want. I really want to stick to that. Brenda Triplett says we need to inform people about Dr. Enright testimony before Congress that Trump's actions led to worldwide pandemic that killed millions. Yeah, it's being it really is all Trump's negligence not only led to at least 500,000 deaths, unnecessary deaths in the United States, but yeah, that probably was like a domino effect and went all across the world, and it is being downplayed, and we need to get the word out that Donald Trump, not only is he a fucking rapist, and not only is he a fucking traitor to this country, and not only is he a con man that has ripped off millions of people for millions and millions of dollars, he also has an awful lot of blood on his hands. He's also responsible for the unnecessary deaths of, like you say, millions of people. That cannot be overstated. That needs to be put out there. I agree. You don't like my music says, when asked what do independent thinkers do, Professor Noam Chomsky said they become cab drivers. That's kind of funny. I guess he drove. See, people. I'm sure there are people back east or in big cities that have relied on cabs for, a lot, and take them regularly. You'd have much more experience. You have much more. More about cabs. Living out in the desert my whole life, I really had no need for cabs because we always had our own cars. Usually, the only time I really had to take a cab is if I think my car broke down one time, and I don't know. Really, I could probably count on one hand the times I've taken a cab. Okay, in my life, on one hand. So that means no more than 5, right? So it's really a small sample size there for me to be talking shit about cab drivers, at least from the rider's point of view. Now, as being an Uber driver's point of view and seeing how the cab drivers, how they drive, how they treat us, how they give Uber drivers the stink eye, how they cut us off, how they're always honking at us, all that kind of shit. I can attest to that. For a year and a half, I've been putting up with their shit. So, there's that. Hey, is Don O'Leary here? Don O'Leary is here. Mike H is back here again, ready to take some more abuse, I guess. I guess, because I have a feeling that we'll just start the countdown now before I start calling this motherfucker a motherfucker. But hey, Mike H, hey man, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, buddy. Andrew Petrie's here. Okay. Deborah Murphy. Good afternoon, Jolie. Hope you are staying cool here in Kansas. It's 98 degrees. 98. It's, well, you know what? I haven't done my time check. It's 11:34 p.m. 11:34 a.m. here in the Pacific time zone of Las Vegas. And the temperature is already 101 motherfucking degrees. 101. I think we're supposed to get to 109, and we're already at 102. So, yeah, it's heating back up again. We had a few days where it was kind of cool, but between 95 and 100 was our daytime high. That's not too bad, because then we get nice overnight lows into the 70s. Now we're going back up to around close to 110 degrees for our daytime highs. So it's going to be warm at night, but yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Andrew Petrie says 1 million deaths. I've always heard that it was 500,000 unnecessary deaths in the United States. As far as extrapolating that to the rest of the planet, I haven't really heard any figures on that. But the one that I've heard reported over and over again is for the United States is 500,000. Paul Mannion from England says, sometimes we all open our mouths before putting our brains into gear. Hear, hear. I do it every second, probably. Mish says, Jolie, it was nice to see a familiar face over there the other night. I rarely catch him live. That's all about that, not hijacking the chat. Like I said, I skipped your threads of the conversations, so I don't know what you're talking about. Bernard Trilla says he was speaking about actions he took between 2017 and 2019 regarding the lab in China. Oh. Was that Enright or Fauci? Because I know Fauci has been talking about that also. Hey, Ginny G is in the chat. Ginny G, welcome. Trump would get the bums rush over here in New Zealand. Hey, I just had some passengers the other day they were from New Zealand. They seemed like a really nice couple, really nice people. And they were very curious about the Tesla. And they were saying how over there in New Zealand, it's harder to have an EV because they don't have the infrastructure for it. And apparently, I guess the former, what do you guys call it, premier or president, whatever, was the woman, right, who we all fell in love with when they had the big shooting crisis, and then during COVID, the way she handled COVID, I think a lot of us, at least us liberals over here, we all fell in love with her. We were like, she's really awesome. Seems like a great leader. And apparently, I don't know how you guys your terms are, if she termed out or if she just got primary, or I mean, apparently she's not the leader anymore, because they were saying how they have this new leader now who is a big right winger and who says, like, basically says, screw infrastructure, screw EVs, and because I guess with the other leader there was maybe a move towards putting in chargers or whatever, and now the new guy who's a right winger is like, fuck that, we're just gonna make you breathe exhaust fumes or something. So that's unfortunate. And if I have my facts wrong, let me know. Or if I've got it all screwed up. Chris says, hey, Chris is here. Good to see Chris in the driver's lounge. Chris says, there's a driver here that I call Psycho Sue. Her driving scares the hell out of me. Is she an Uber driver? And you're like, so you're trying to get an Uber ride, and you're like, please don't let it be Sue. Please don't let it be Sue. Stephanie B2 is here. Says, I'm cutting glass and putting in a window frame to make a mirror around decoupage paper. Wow, that sounds very crafty. Mish says, good to see Chris. Mike H, I can see what you said. Hey, look, I don't care if you call me a loser. What I don't like is when you just put out these right-wing talking points, and Jolie's probably mad at me for even bringing this up. She's like, John, just let it go, move on. But it's when you just keep bombarding us with these stupid right-wing talking points they're bullshit, and you won't shut up about it. And even though I prove you wrong, I shoot you down every time. I disprove your little fucking right-wing talking points, and then yet you still want to drop them. That's what pisses me off. You can call me a loser. I don't give a fuck. You can call me a loser all day long. Just don't call me late for dinner, or something like that. Anyhow, I should move on. I know Jolie's like, John, what are you doing? You know. Now here's another. Hey guys, Trump sucks. Hey, well, I agree. But PDJ 200-pound FB. I don't think I've seen this one before. I've seen you here, so make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. Like, subscribe, share, and welcome to the Driver's Lounge. You don't like my music says, I think Chomsky's point about independent thinkers becoming cab drivers applies to trucks and Uber too. Oh, maybe. Hey, Suzanne Forisepi is here. I haven't seen Suzanne in a while. Good to see you. Suzanne says, I had to walk to the store in the scorching heat and then I hitched the ride back. Wow, be careful out in that heat. Try to stay hydrated. Keep some water with you. You know, I know we don't like plastic bottles, but it's better than dying of dehydration. So. We got Fancies here. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Jolie says, Mish, I was very happy to see you. I don't know many over there. I only catch about 10% of the time. Yeah, I still don't know what show you guys are talking about. I missed that part of the thread of your conversation. And I said, hey, Ginny G. Ginny G's here. We in winter. Oh, this is the New Zealand person. Winter, but quite mild. So I guess that's a good thing. PDG 2000 LBFB used to live in Phoenix. And that is... Thank you, Jolie. Jolie's protecting me. Jolie's looking out for me. You know, it's kind of hilarious, huh, Jolie? Jolie, I think it's kind of hilarious. This guy, this Mike H guy, it's kind of hilarious. I'll wear it as a badge of honor, I guess. I got this troll who is, I think, probably infatuated by me, apparently. Brenda says, Suzanne, first up, I finally got a vehicle but no AC. So glad someone gave you a ride. My store is a 3-mile walk. Yeah, and a car with no AC is probably better than a 3-mile walk, right? Especially in the heat. So, you know, I guess it's the little things. It's the little things. Keith Polite says global temperatures this year are already ahead of 2023, the hottest year on record. I know, and we're just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter until we just burn up. Jolie says, sorry, Mike, not in the mood today. Jolie is high, and she's sitting by the pool, and she don't got no time for your shit, Mike. She wants to enjoy her day out by the pool, Mike. We don't need your shit. Gino says, welcome, Kiwi. The Kiwis are here. I don't even know what accent that was. I have no business doing that. You don't like my music, says Ahern. Hey, Ahern is a, I think those are apartments, or is it a hotel in Las Vegas, right on Sahara Avenue? So I don't know. You don't like my music, this says Ahern out of the blue. I don't know what you're referring to, but there is a hotel here called the Ahern in Vegas. So. I don't know if that was that reference to that. Suzanne says, Joey, my partner is slowly. Oh, I feel the same. Your partner is slowly dying. I feel the same too. Well, that's very sad. Jupiter Judy, COVID had 1 million in the USA and 80,000 in Florida deaths. Okay, guys, what has been reported in the news ad infinitum, I'm not talking about the total deaths. I'm saying that the amount of unnecessary deaths that were caused by Trump's negligence or inaction has been reported to be 500,000. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm sticking to, because that's what I've heard by news reporting over and over and over again. Jenny G says Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, she bowed out to go on to other things. They are going to put a road user tax on electric cars here. That's what my passengers were talking about, that road user tax. Which it kind of makes sense. I know people can be upset about that. I know I think they were talking about doing that in California, here in the States. Because the way that they get taxes for highway improvement and highway maintenance is through a fuel tax, a gas tax at the pump. But if more and more people are going to EVs, then that money is going to disappear, and but you're still going to have people using the roads. So you still need road maintenance, you still need road repairs, you still need to make new highways. So there has to be some way of generating a tax on the people that are using those roads. I don't know what California has done. I've moved out of there, so I don't keep up on everything. But I know they were talking about implementing some type of a tax on EVs to make up for that shortfall. And as California, they have been on the forefront of switching over, more to EVs. So eventually they're going to need to they're going to need to replace that fuel tax with something, and they were going to base it on miles, and they were trying to decide if it would be like an honor system where you report how many miles you drive, or if they would actually have some sort of a monitor where they could monitor your miles. And then of course, there's an argument about privacy and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the counter argument is driving is a privilege, not a right, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on, or that's what was going on in California when I lived there 5 years ago, or at some point, they were talking about it. So I don't really know what's going on there, but yeah, but the road user tax for EV cars, I don't really have a problem with it, especially if you have a fuel tax that is there to maintain the roads and build the roads, and then if you switch over to EVs, you got to make up for it somehow. So anyhow, it's kind of unfortunate that Ardern bowed out, because she seemed to be progressive or liberal or whatever, and then according to my passengers, the new guy seems to be a real kind of a right winger, like ultra conservative. But I don't know. I don't live there. I don't know. Chris says Sue is a cab driver. Okay, well, when you call the cab, you're like, please don't let it be Sue. You don't like my music. Jacinda Ardern was a glimmer of hope for world leadership. Yeah, she seemed really awesome. I don't know what she's doing now. I don't know what her plans are. If she's still going to be involved in politics or just out of politics completely, I don't know. Big Hook, the Big Canuck says, remember the guys who used to have those defeat devices on their diesel trucks so they could produce black smoke? Oh, I've seen those guys, and they're disgusting. It's on pickup trucks, those big raised up pickup trucks, and they like to get in front of you and hit that, whatever it is they do, and blow that black smoke in you. It's disgusting. It really is. Paul Mannion says, do you remember the look on the lady's face, scientist, when Crump was talking about injecting disinfectant? She wanted the ground to open up. Yeah, that was Birx, Dr. Birx, right? With the scarves. And I know we can be very critical of her and Fauci sometimes for saying, why didn't you say more or do more? But I think they were just trying to keep their jobs, not because they wanted to keep their jobs so much, but because they didn't want to be replaced with someone who would be a total dipshit, a total sycophant to Trump. So they were walking this fine line, trying to not get fired, but also trying to steer him to something that was actually factual. And that was quite a position to be put in. But I don't envy either one of Birx or Fauci. I don't envy them at all. I don't like my music. I mean, you don't like my music says, I gave up cars about 30 years ago. I moved downtown close to work. I have never regretted it. I love big cities. Suzanne is reminding everyone to hit that like button. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Andrew, for the support there. David Feldman show. I do watch David Feldman every now and then. And he's like, for me, it's like really late at night usually, I think. But David Feldman's really good. I mean, you talk about facts, laying down facts, and having it all written out, and he's like doing this report. You know, I like David Feldman. If that's the one I'm thinking of, he's kind of like a bald guy and probably like my age, I guess, 60s or whatever, right? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Is that the right guy? But he's really good. You don't like my music says Ahern is a popular Irish name. I was referring to the PM of New Zealand. Well, I thought her name was Adern. So you confusing me, man. I guess a typo, but now you've gone back to it, so I don't know. Former PM. Okay, yeah. Jupiter Judy says, please buy reusable bottles and refill. Yeah, I know, Jupiter. I know. That's absolutely... You're correct. What I should do is get a nice Brita, pitcher with the filter. Because I used to have... That's what we used to do when I was with my ex, and we had... In our fridge, we had the nice Brita water pitcher with the filters, and we would just use that. But then as I got into truck driving and stuff, it just was always more convenient for me to buy bottled water, and I always kept water in the truck, and so then I just got lazy, and I'm always just buying bottled water. But yeah, I should invest in a nice Brita water pitcher filter system, and then just get a reusable bottle. You are absolutely 100% correct. But if you don't do that, you can't do that, and you're out in the heat, and you want to stay hydrated, just go buy some nice Crystal Geyser if you can. They're the best. I think Crystal Geyser is the absolute best. It's direct from a spring in California, in the mountains, in the Sierra Nevadas, just south of Mammoth. I've been to that plant many a time. I've picked up many a water load from there. They also have, if you go to Trader Joe's, their water is called, I don't know what they have a brand of water. They put the Trader Joe's name on it. It is from the same spring, bottled at the same plant as Crystal Geyser. So if you go to Trader Joe's and you get their water, if it says bottled at Roxanne CG, that's Crystal Geyser. Just a little note. But what I'm saying is, if you're out in the heat and you need some water, this is okay. But like I say, if you can get a nice reusable bottle and do it that way, that is better probably for the environment. It's better probably for your body because you're not ingesting microplastics. I know all that shit. I know the whole thing. But one step at a time, folks. I will get a Brita, but I will put that on my list of things to do. I will get one of those Britas and start doing that, and a nice reusable bottle. But until then, I'll do that because this is like second best thing, I guess. I guess it's the second best, which is better than nothing. It's better than dehydration. Brenda Triple says he purposely had the CDC test thrown out so we wouldn't know the real numbers in the U.S. Yeah, he did everything he could to throw a monkey wrench into how to handle a very highly contagious airborne disease. He did everything opposite of what you're supposed to do, pretty much. Big Hook says, imagine a world. Oh no, it didn't say imagine. I added that part. Imagine where we would be now if we continued Jimmy Carter or jumped on the Gore agenda, and then I know I cannot do it. My head explodes. I do that game. I say, and I always start usually with the 2000 election. What if Gore had not been given? I mean, what if Bush had not been given the presidency by the Supreme Court, and Gore had taken office as he rightfully should have? and I start thinking about that. But then I go, I back up to, okay, well, what if Jimmy Carter had won a second term, and what if Reagan hadn't, and his people, hadn't negotiated with Iran, with the arms deal and all that stuff, the hostage deal, to sabotage Jimmy Carter, and then I go back to what if what if Robert Kennedy hadn't been assassinated, and because he probably would have got the nomination and probably would have won 68, I believe. What if we'd had two terms of Robert Kennedy? And then I go back to JFK, and I'm like, oh my God, what if JFK hadn't been assassinated, and he didn't even get to finish one term, let alone have 2 terms. Just think how much different that would have been. I think Vietnam would have been downplayed, or would have been, I think we would have been out of Vietnam very, very shortly. Just think of all the I don't know, just better, not that Johnson didn't do a good job, but with civil rights and equal rights and with health care and Medicare, I think getting it more on the path to Medicare for all much sooner. I mean, my head just explodes. I keep going back and back and back all the way to Kennedy, of all the what ifs, and it comes to a point where I'm like, I got to stop. I got to say, John, don't do it. You're playing this stupid what if game, and it doesn't do a damn bit of good. The only good it really does is motivate me, and it should motivate everyone to make sure that we vote, that we realize how important it is to vote, and that we vote for good people, and we stop voting for Republicans because they're not good people. No matter what they want to tell you, no matter what you want to say, oh, this guy, I'm an independent, and I like to have a free mind about things. I'm not going to be just a sheep. I'm not going to be your little, and just follow the blue team. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the Republicans, at least within my lifetime, have never really given a shit about the working class people, the middle class people. All they see them is as votes that they have to pander to. So they create crisis. They create all these hot button issues, emotional issues like abortion and guns and all that shit, just so they can pander to you to get votes. And then when they get in office, what do? They lower taxes for the rich. They strip away regulations. The economy goes down. Unemployment goes up. We went through with Bush. We almost got into a Great Depression. We were in a Great Recession. I mean, we've seen the charts. I've done it every show almost, where we've seen the charts where Republicans get in office and the economy goes to shit. Democrats get in and we clean it up, and it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And we got to stop this fucking cycles. And we need to just stop electing Republicans because they don't give a fuck about you. They only give a fuck about themselves. The top 1/10% of the income earners, or the wealthy. That's all they give a shit about. That's all they are. That's their purpose for existence, is to cater to the top 1%. That's it. End of story. So we need to stop electing Republicans. So when I go back and I think about all that, that's the only reason, or that I can think of thinking about Gore and Carter and the Kennedys, is to let that be a lesson that we don't ever, no matter what, they can keep killing our, the Kennedys or whatever, but we're not going to be deterred, and we're not going to bend, and we're going to keep voting for Democrats, and we're not going to vote for you shitty goddamn Republicans ever again. That's what I take away from it. Stop voting for Republicans. Let's go forward. Let's move forward. Let's get election cycle after election cycle after election cycle of blue waves, Democrats, liberals, progressives. No more of this fucking repugnant Republican fucking backward ass bullshit. Not taking us to the 1950s, but taking us to the 1850s. Let's stop that shit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, man. And I hope that a lot of you in this chat are sick of it too. Just, if you're going to vote blue. Encourage everyone you know to vote for Democrats. Or, I don't know how we do it, because people get defensive. People get, I've got brothers and sisters I haven't talked to in fucking 7 years. And it's not because I said I'm not talking to them. It's because they said they're not going to talk to me. I got a cousin who was like a brother to me coming on one of my other pages on Facebook, talking his weird MAGA bullshit. And we haven't really spoken, other than occasionally he'll put something in a chat or something. This is the kind of shit I got to deal with. My own goddamn family. That won't even talk to me because they're just dyed-in-the-wool fucking maggots. But don't let that deter you, people. Vote blue and stop voting for Republicans. Probably 90% of you in this chat don't vote for Republicans, I guess. I don't know. But that is really, like I say, I think Suzanne or somebody said earlier, think of the progress we would have made. And just think of the progress if JFK had won, if RFK had not been assassinated and he won, if Carter had won his second term, if Gore had won and had 2 terms. I mean, on and on and on. Just think of the progress that we would have made with environment. Like right now, we're on the verge of burning up because the fucking Republicans will do nothing for the environment. Fuck Richard Nixon and EPA. I don't give a fuck about that. They kowtow to the fucking fuel. They are owned by, they are the lapdogs of the fucking fossil fuel industry. And they have done everything they can to thwart any type of getting off of fossil fuels, going into green renewables. They fight it left and right, and they put millions and billions of dollars into fighting it. So just think of the progress there. Just think of the progress with healthcare. We would all have universal single payer by now. All of us. If it hadn't been for the goddamn Republicans. I mean, they just they're horrible. I cannot overstress or overstate how horrible the goddamn Republicans are. So when we think about Gore, think about this, that's what comes up for me. The Republicans are awful. They're pieces of shit. They're going to destroy us in spite of themselves. So we just need to do everything we can to get Democrats elected. And I know that Democrats aren't perfect. They make mistakes. They do wrong things. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You guys aren't perfect. No one's perfect. But they're a hell of a lot better than the fucking Republicans. Because it doesn't really matter about perfection. Their goal is, their reason for existence, like I said, is just to perform for the upper 1%, the top 1%. That's all they're there for. And everything else is just window dressing, or it's just a way of trying to get votes because they don't have otherwise they wouldn't have the votes. So they have to manipulate the masses. And that's why you have just good, honest, hardworking, middle-class people that will vote for Republicans. Because we Democrats have been demonized by their propaganda machines, by Fox News, by the Rush Limbaughs, who is dead now, but they still have a huge radio network where they have Hannity and Mike Levin and all those assholes blaring out the bullshit 24/7, 365, and 3 or 4 radio stations in the same market. It's just a constant blowtorch. So that's what we're up against. That's what we've been up against, and we need to fight through it. Somehow, some way. We need to overcome that. And the way you do that is you listen to the Trucker John Show. And others. Anyhow, I've been on my little spiel there. I missed a lot of the chat. I'm just going to skip down a little bit. Chris says I missed my Brita. Yeah, I think I'm going to get one of those. Because every time I talk about water or take a sip of water, there's always someone that says something about you shouldn't use that, and they're right, and you guys are right. So one of these days I'm going to get some type of I like the Brita system. You just fill it up, it filters it, it stays nice and cold in the fridge, and then get a nice reusable deal there. Andrew Petrie says, don't drink Aquafina water or put one in the freezer. It won't freeze. What does that tell you? I don't know, but I drink Aquafina a lot because sometimes when I was on the road and I couldn't find Crystal Geyser, I would drink Aquafina. I would drink Dasani, whatever. Because I always feel like it's still better than nothing. It's still better than being dehydrated. So, anyhow, I'm just scrolling down because like I said, I'm probably an hour behind in the chat now, or at least 15 or 20 minutes. But you guys are awesome. You're chatting it up. Big Hook says, I think the billionaires think that there is enough of them that they can implement 2025 and rewrite the rules of government and society and implement fascist rule. Trump is their useful idiot. Yeah. But you know what? We're going to beat him. We're going to beat him this fall. But just because we beat him once doesn't mean that it's over. It's never over. It's never over, folks. We just got to keep voting. And keep at it, Jenny G says, I'm horrified how women's rights are being eroded in the states. Women need to make a stand. And believe me, they will. It's going to be Rovember. A little thing I like to call a Rovember. It's hear me roar. It's going to be the women of America are not going to stand by idly. I know we see. I was at the Trump rally. I saw a lot of women there wearing MAGA hats, and when I got into a little bit argument with them, they were defending his rapiness. But I think that's really kind of an anomaly. I think that they're really in the minority. I think the women here in America are really just can't wait to vote. November 5th or whatever day it is cannot come soon enough for the women of America, and for all of us who love women and stand by women, and we can't wait to vote either. So, that's going to be the one thing that they can't undo between now and November. What they've done by overturning Roe, that's probably going to be the major thing that's going to get the Democrats over the hump, I guess, or I think. Okay, I'm just skipping down. It says, you don't like my music. If you believe in some omnipotent God, you are capable of anything. Hey, there's Tim Nelson. Hello, Tim. One of our Tims is here, playing with the emojis. Found the emojis there. Paul Mannion says, if you don't vote, keep your mouth shut. Here. I'm just sort of cherry picking or whatever. Is that the right term? Some of the chats, because like I said, I'm just kind of scrolling down. So, like Stephanie B2 says, mini pepperoni pizza is done. So there you go. Now I want pizza. You guys, you always talk about food, and then I want it. I want it. Big Hook says, don't let the goal of perfection be an enemy to the enemy of good, but not perfect. Take your wins and expand on them. And incrementalism, as Hal Sparks says. I have nothing wrong with incrementalism, but the thing I do have a problem with is when we do this back and forth thing, where we go from Republican to Democrat, Republican to Democrat, we need to step up the incrementalism a little bit, because we're just losing too much time to the Republicans. It's one thing to do little bits when we have a consistent, consistency of having the Congress, having the majorities in the Senate and the House, having the White House, and then we could do incrementalism. But when we're going back and forth, and when the Democrats get in the White House or get the numbers in the Congress, and then we're spending half of our time cleaning up the messes that the Republicans made. So that's where incrementalism falters, I think, because we're just spending so much time catching up and cleaning up. So But yeah, I understand incrementalism. Like you're not, how it might be difficult in one fell swoop to just go, all right, we're going to have Medicare for all right now today, which I think we could do actually. And we're gonna lower the Social Security age to 50 or 55, which I think would be great, and I think they should do, or at least down to 60. But I don't know. I understand incrementalism, but also I think it's kind of frustrating when we go through all these periods of having to clean up the Republicans' mess and spend time doing that, and instead of incrementally going forward, it just gets really frustrating. Gina Maynard, member for 1 month. Hello, Gino. Happy Trucklerversary, I think we'll call it. Thanks, Gino, for being a member and being a part of the driver's lounge here. You don't like my music, says bottled water is still healthier choice than pop or juice. Andrew Petrie, I don't drink toilet water. No, I drink toilet water. It's safer. I don't. I can say that I've never drank toilet water. Not saying that I wouldn't if there was like an extreme emergency. Now because they do say like if you're in some sort of natural disaster and you don't have any water, and if you can make a fire, because depending on the natural disaster, like turning your stove on, or it might not. I don't know if you can do it, but if you can heat up water, so then you take the water out of the top tank of your toilet, and you boil that water, because that will get all the, I guess, bacteria or whatever out of it, and then you can drink that water once it's cooled. I would say probably let it cool. But I've never had to resort to that. So I'm scrolling down. Mish says, there are some mealworms in the corner, TJ. Ask Franklin if he will share. Franklin can have all the mealworms. I will pass on the mealworms. Brenda Triplett says, we the taxpayers give elected officials the best health care. It's time they return the favor. Yeah, they have a really nice system, don't they? They have a really nice system set up for themselves. Chris says, look at the mess that Biden had to clean up. Yeah, it's the same thing. Just like Obama, he had to clean up Bush's mess. I mean, we were on the precipice of going into a Great Depression. Our banking industry was crashing, the housing market burst, and Obama went in there, and him and the administration turned us around, got us going. Then Trump gets in there and just fucks everything up, fucks it all to hell. And then in 4 years, it took W, at least it took him 8 years, but Trump did it in 4 years. And now Biden has cleaned it up, turned us around, and given us the best economy in the world. Companies are making profits like they've never seen before. And that's like the maggot when I was at the Trump rally. He was talking about inflation. And I just said, well, it's greedflation. And they had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, and I just was like, the companies are charging you more. They're making profits like they've never made, and they don't need to charge you as much. So it's not Biden's fault. And they're like, oh yeah, Biden. They're like, oh yeah, Biden can't do anything wrong, can he, or something like that. Deborah Murphy says, I want them to fix Social Security so no one can take money out of it. They can't take money out of it. I think they borrow against it or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, it needs to be made sure that it is safe and secure. And they don't get their greedy little paws on it. That's for sure. Chris says, Torby Cat, I'm amazed at the job he's done. Oh, Torby Cat's here. Have those emergency straws. Torby Cat, hello Torby Cat, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in here to the driver's lounge. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share for me. Let's help grow the show. Sharing the show is a great way to grow. We're at 1,860 something subscribers, and let's just keep moving on. Moving along here. You know what? I did have another graphic. I should put this up here. I like reminding us about really how good Joe Biden has been. Gosh darn it. Trying to move that. I'm just going to put that over that. You know, really some great accomplishments for working families. I mean, look at this graphic. This is why we need to keep Joe Biden in there for a second term. And this is why we need to keep voting for Democrats. Because after Joe's second term, whether it be Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or whoever it might be, that we need to keep it rolling, because they will continue. The Democrats will use Joe Biden's time as president as a blueprint of what to do and how to grow economies, how to invest in America, and see, you know, see the results here. And so if we want to stop with this stupid back and forth bullshit, then we need to keep Joe in office, and we need to keep getting Democrats in office. It's just really as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. Okay, I'm just skipping down a little bit. Paul Manning says, have you heard what also Nigel Farage said today about Russia and Ukraine? He's blaming NATO. He's a Trumpist. I think I may have heard that on House Park Show today, that they mentioned that. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Jenny G says, my kids grew up on a untreated river water in the 70s and 80s. They are as healthy as wouldn't do it today, though. Too many pollutants. Hi, Torby Cat. I saw Torby Cat said hi. Hello back at you. Brenda Triplet says, Joe has earned a second term. Absolutely. Absolutely has earned a second term. He's got my vote, and I hope he has your vote, and I hope that we just let everyone know. I'm in Nevada, and I'm really discouraged about the polling here. I'm hoping the polling is wrong. But like I said, when I went to the Trump rally, my Uber driver, who was an African American, got all excited about Trump. Now, I don't know if that, I don't know how this is going to make me sound, but could it be that maybe she didn't want to be disagreeable with her passenger because she didn't know who I was, and maybe she thought I was a total Trump supporter, and so maybe she was going, all right, yeah, I like Trump, and then but then she did find out, because I wasn't really going along with her enthusiasm. And then she kind of looked in her mirror and she's like, "Oh, you don't like Trump, I take it." And I'm like, "No, I don't like him. I'm just here to check it out." And then she didn't back off. I mean, she didn't, go, "Well, yeah, I'm not really that into him." She kind of kept going with Trump, with her enthusiasm of Trump. And I was really kind of taken aback by that. I was kind of amazed. And I know it's only one person. And it's like the other day, I had a passenger I told you about. She wasn't from here. She was from out of town. But she was raving about how Trump is such a badass. I'm like, what? And again, I didn't want to be. I'm an Uber driver. I don't want to get into. It's kind of like that saying, "Don't talk about religion or politics in polite company" or whatever. I didn't want, so I try not to get into it or whatever, but I was thinking, my reaction inside my head was like, what? You think Trump is a badass? He's a fat ass. He ain't a badass. And these women who are all enthusiastic about Trump and think he's a badass, I mean, it would take an incredible amount of balls, and it might get me in trouble. I don't know, but what if because the woman, she was sitting in the front seat because I had 3 in the back, and then she was sitting right next to me. What if I had turned and just said, "Do you mind if I grab your pussy?" You know, I mean, what would she have done? What if I had actually just reached over and grabbed her pussy? I mean, okay, I'm not Donald Trump, I guess. So I guess that's only okay if Donald Trump does that. But if I did that, let's say if I just reached over and grabbed her pussy, I'm sure that I would be in jail right now. I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind. I would be in fucking jail right now. So I don't understand this double standard or whatever. That it's okay, and I guess maybe Trump was right when he said when you're a celebrity you can get away with it or you can do it. Like he said, you just go up to him and kiss him when you're a celebrity. That's what Donald Trump said, and I guess that extends down to grabbing the pussy. That extends to grabbing whatever body part you want. If you're a celebrity, I guess he kind of proves his own point because he's getting away with it, or he's got a lot of approval by some of these women, some of these fucking maggot women, like the one that was sitting next to me in the car when she was going off about what a badass he is and how great he is. But I guarantee you, if I had reached over and grabbed her pussy, I would be in jail right now. I would be kicked off the Uber. I would be in jail, and my life would be in total turmoil right now. But for some reason, when that fat ass motherfucker, piece of shit, orange turd, diaper wearing fucking Adderall junkie, when he does it or says it, it's fine. That is some sort of psychosis there. That's some kind of sickness with some of these, not just the women, but the guys too, how the MAGA men too. I mean, how they just fucking lap up everything he says or does. There's a sickness there. That's what my cousin's doing. They are fucking, there's something wrong. Something very, very wrong. Very, very wrong here. But it's mind-boggling. It's fucking absolutely mind-boggling. Guys, I'm scrolling down in the chat here. Because I'm always behind. Roxanne says, it's always been a mystery to me too, Ginny G. Ginny G! Yeah, we're all mystified about this adoration, is it, for Trump? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Brenda Triplett says, my last Uber driver was a young guy playing a progressive talk show. We had a great discussion, and he said I was so smart. Nick Rich says, the live stream is not safe for work. Language, John. Are you at work, Nick Rich? Just use your air. What do you call them? Your earpods. AirPods. Mish says you have to be a star. Yeah, I guess that's right. Brenda Triple says Donnie is only a badass with women. Otherwise, he's just a loudmouth lardass. He's not even a badass with women, I don't think. Gino says many love Trump because he can do and say things they fear that can no longer get away. They can no longer get away with. They kind of live vicariously through him, I guess. Paul Mannion says there's going to be a lot of Trump people seeking mental health support after the election. No, because they're too stupid to even do that. They won't even seek help. Nick Rich says expletives are not all equal. Well, what, pussy? You're talking about pussy? Hey, man, I like cats. Tim Nelson says, I don't know, Jenny, been asking since 2016. Yeah, me too. Torby Cat, going back to the time it wasn't the woman's fault for sexual assault. When was that time? It seems like they always want to blame the victim, huh? Big Hook says, I swear, Nick Rich, you bring out the worst in TJ. It's all Nick Rich's fault. You're all right, Big Hook. Jupiter Judy says, Gino, yeah, right, 34 felonies and a rape charge with more to come. Ginny G says, I couldn't believe it when he got elected in 2016. We thought America had lost its mind. Have you lost your fucking mind? I know. I was right. I'm in America, and I was beside myself. And I went into depression. And I've never really been a person to go into depression. I totally went into depression. And it was just the weirdest thing. It's just, still a mind blower to this day, how that motherfucker could win. And it was really sad to think that there's that many people that would vote for him. It was really sad. But we're coming out of it. I think, you know, he's less and less. He's got less and less support. So, you know, I truly think he's going to get his ass whipped. But, you know, we can't get complacent, guys. We got to make sure we all vote. Make sure you go to vote.org. Go to, you know, to wherever it is you need to go. Check your voter registration. Make sure you're all on the rolls. Make sure the Republicans haven't, you know, purged you from the rolls. You know, always keep up on that. Like every month, check it out. It's like the first of the month comes around, go, oh, I got to pay my rent and I got to check my voter registration. Big Hook says, I think if the polls show Trump is going to lose badly, he will flee. Dying in jail probably isn't on his bucket list. Yeah, we've been talking about that before, about him fleeing. There's definitely that possibility of him trying to flee. And I'm sure that the FBI and all of the other law enforcement agencies are all thinking the same thing. And so for him to do it, he's going to have to be pretty slick about it, I think. You don't like my music, says 95% of the sexual assaults go unreported, yet the right would have us believe these women are liars. Jupiter Judy says, it is all about being easy to sell to. He's a car salesman who lies to get what he wants. Say it loud and share. Absolutely. That has been, like, every time I say, and everyone says what a moron and what an idiot Trump is, I believe he is an idiot, and I believe he is a moron. But you can be a pretty good used car salesperson and still be an idiot and a moron. All you got to do is learn some tricks. Learn a few salesman tricks, and you could make a living as a salesman. And that's what he's been able to do. I mean, he had a really big head start when he inherited, $600 million from his dad, right? Or whatever it was. And he managed to lose that a few times over with his bankruptcies. That's how much of a moron he is. But he has learned some of the sleazy salesman tricks. And so that gives the illusion. People think that maybe the maggots or whatever think he's smart, and I think he's fooled himself into thinking he's smart because maybe he turned a few deals here and there or whatever. But he's definitely not a presidential material. Let's put it that way. He's a moron. He knows nothing about foreign affairs and the histories of the countries and everything. I mean, there's so much you need to know, and he knows nothing. And not that I know that much more, but I'm not the president, you know what I mean? Brenda Triplet says, bad actors need to get the fuck out of politics. Yeah, they do. Nick Rich says the Secret Service won't let him have any chance to flee. Yeah, that's the thing. So I was thinking that he's going to have to somehow, do it when the Secret Service isn't there or something. I don't know. If he can ever get rid of him. I'm just trying to, I wanted to make, I don't know. I was going to change something here, but I don't want to, I'm afraid I'm going to knock some stuff over. I don't want to knock anything over. I'm really in a tight situation here. There, I just thought I would kind of sit up a little bit, and maybe you might see my Nerd Halen t-shirt. I don't know, I guess you still can't see it, can you? Let's see, if I sit back here. Yeah, there's the guys. You see the Nerd Halen? I got my Nerd Halen shirt on. You can see three of them. Where's this guy? Okay, now there they are. All right. So there's Nerd Halen. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of the Nerd Halen guys. So I'm wearing their shirt today. I just wanted to try to get that on camera a little bit. But anyhow, where are we at here? Where did I leave off? You don't like my music says Trump formulates policy mostly by what gets the most applause. It's so stupid. Trump is stupid and his followers are stupid. Even the smart ones. You don't like my music? Get a better chair. I'm working on that too. I do have one. It's in my I guess call it a wish list on Amazon Prime. It's a beautiful chair. It's black with orange, black and orange. I'll just say that, and it's beautiful. And I'm gonna get that as soon as I can. I got a lot of stuff on my wish list, I guess. You know, the Mac Pro book or whatever, and the chair, for sure. Alvin Stube, check my voter registration, all good. Oh, good on you, Alvin. Good for checking. Yeah, but just check that every month. Go to vote.org or whatever you think. Like here in Nevada, I have another one. It's through Nevada. They always keep me updated. It's really cool. When I voted in this last primary, they sent me a thing saying we received your ballot, because I did mail-in ballot. They said we received it and it's been counted, and so it lets you know. It's really cool. When you see right now, Nevada, I guess we would be considered a blue state, but we do have a Republican governor, so I consider it's kind of purple. And then when I see this polling coming out, that's where I got on this whole spiel earlier about the polling and everything. I get a little discouraged because, you know, we lost our governor, Cortez Mastos. Barely kept her seat. It was literally like, I want to say like 2,000 votes or maybe less that she won by. And now we've got Rosen up. She better win, god damn it. I mean, I get discouraged because the people here should know fucking better. I mean, I realize we have a lot of Republicans out on the outskirts that live out in the desert, and they live out of town. But there's not very many of them. All the people live here in Vegas. And up in the Reno area, you know, up there, Carson City, Reno, Sparks, and down here in Vegas, that's where everyone lives. And they should all be Democrats, and they should all be voting for fucking Joe Biden. They should be voting for the Democrat governor, and they should be voting for the Democrat senators. So I'm a little discouraged with Nevada right now. I'm a little discouraged and a little upset with my fellow Nevadans. Wake up, Nevada. Jesus H. Christ. We don't want any more of these judges appointed like that fucking piece of shit up in Carson City that threw that case out about the 6 fake electors. They were fake. They were phonies. And she's letting them walk. That's disgusting. Come on, Nevada, you can do better than that. You can do better than that. It's really disgusting. Big Hook says, world peace fancy, Amazon doesn't have that anywhere, just self-indulgence. Jenny G says, yes, that too, and demanding to stay at the palace. I guess I missed part of the thread of what you guys are talking about. Big Hook says, Jupiter Judy and the dog days of summer. You don't like my music, says no deterrence for coup. For coups. For coup. I don't know, but I think it's time for a visit. There we go. All right, I'm here. I need to come in for a little bit because I just want you guys to know that I'm feeling good right now, and I hope you guys are feeling good. And now I understand that Trucker John earlier was using the P word. All right, I don't talk that way, but myself. So I just want to extend my apologies on behalf of the Trucker John channel about the use of the P word. It apparently has offended some people, and you know, so I just felt I had to say something. I just felt I had to come in here and let you guys know that you'll never hear the P word. The only P word you're going to hear from me is purple. I guess that's about it. But so anyhow, I hope we're not too offended, and I hope that I hope everything's okay. I hope we're I just felt a little bad. I just felt like I had to say something. Well, on the other hand, I'll say pussy all day long. I don't give a fuck. All right. So if you're offended, then you're just tough shit. Tough shit. I apologize for Tough Cookie. I didn't know he was going to come in and do that. That was totally uncalled for. All right. Tough Cookie. I'm going to put Tough Cookie on a timeout for the rest of the show. That was uncalled for. When I say it, at least it's in context. I'm talking about Trump, talking about, the things that he said. I don't just say it willy-nilly. So, Tough Cookie, you're on timeout. And as far as the Paul Purple Beard guy, I don't need you apologizing for me, all right? But I appreciate the gesture, I guess. But I don't really need that. Anyhow, crisp as sparklicious. Brenda says, bring out the cookie. You don't like my music. What's wrong with pussy? Paul Manny says, I'm here, I'm queer, getting freaking used to it. Or get freaking used to it. Or get fucking used to it. Or fucking used to it. How do you guys say fuck in England? You say it differently, don't you? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what a flat is. I live in an apartment. Does that mean I live in a flat? I don't know. Me's not offended. Nick Rich says thanks. Fancy says yay the cookie. Big Hook says Nick Rich, it's all your fault. You don't like my music. Says Pussy Riot is great. Yeah, they were great. I don't know if they're still alive, but they were fucking great. Brenda Triple says love the Tough Cookie. Jenny G, too old to be offended, heard it all. Been there, done that. Roxanne Armfield says bring back the cookie. Well, apparently I put him on timeout. But I can also, I guess I do have the power to untime out. Tim Nelson says, just imagine if he would have went to the Capitol, Nick Rich. No resistance. You don't like my music. Fact. Nick Rich says, I brought it up only because John was repeatedly using the term grabber by the... All right, Nick. I don't mean to, sometimes I do pick on Nick a little too much, I think. I don't mean to pick on you too much. Maybe a little bit. You don't like my music, says Cockneys say fack. Fack. Oh, you're fack. I don't know. Fancy says Irish say feck. Yeah, feckin'. Yeah, feckin'. What would they say after that? I don't know. Paul Mannion the same. Effect. Oh, a fuck is a fuck? I don't know. Where are you coming from? I guess they say, in England, they say fuck, too. Jolie says, my friend from Cork always said feck. Where's Cork? Put a cork in it. You don't like my music? Maybe. Oh, retracted. I was reading it as it got retracted. So I didn't mean to, point that out. Nick says, I've got thick skin, no probs. All right, Nick. Well, you're still here, so that proves a lot. That proves you do have thick skin. And I appreciate you, Nick. You know you're one of my faves. You know that, buddy. Brenda Trula says we always said fork as teens to avoid punishment. Yeah, or fudge. Fudge was one. Frickin'. You know, you can get away with frickin' or friggin'. Friggin' and frickin' are two. And fudge. That you can do to get away, to not get punished. Which I always thought was weird. Like, okay, look. What's the difference if I say fuck or if I say fudge? And they mean the same exact thing. Like, we're not talking about, you know, fudge chocolate or whatever. In the context that you're using it, you're just substituting the word fuck with fudge. And if you said fuck, you could get in trouble. But if you said fudge, everything's fine. And I've never understood that. It's just like on the the public airwaves, the 7 words you can't say. You can't say tits or tits, but you can say boobs. You can say boobs all day long, but you can't say tits. I don't get that. I do not understand. Why can't you say tits, but you can say boobs? They're the same exact goddamn thing. A boob is a tit, and a tit is a boob. Why can't you say tits? But you can say boobs. You can say knockers. You can say anything that that means boob or that means tit, but you can't say tits. I don't get it. I don't get it. You can't say shit, but you could say shite. I think they've said shite. That's kind of like what the English or Irish will say. And I think you can get away with saying shite, but you can't say shit. You could say crap. Crap is shit. Shit and crap are the same thing. How come you can say crap on public airways, but you can't say shit? I don't understand it. I do not understand it. It's the same goddamn thing. A shit and crap are the same exact thing, but you can say one, but you can't say the other. I don't understand it. Jenny G says, we put that for bro after fuck. Tim Nelson, mother forking sons of beehives. Greg Edmond says, fuck has less calories. Hey, Greg Edmond, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. Fancy says, boobs is nicer. You don't like my music? I prefer bassoons. Jupiter Judy says, Paul, my heritage is German, Scottish, Irish, Dutch, Sweden, question mark. My dad said we were Heinz 57. That's kind of what I was always told too. We're Heinz 57. Big Hook says, what starts with F and with uck? Fire truck. If you have a dirty mind, you fuckers. Brenda Triplett says, I had a very strict upbringing, got soap in my mouth for saying the neighbor was pregnant. Yes, that's another one. Then years later, my little sister got 0 punishment for saying a friend was knocked up. That's another word. Like, they had a hard time saying pregnant on TV, right? And I think that bled into society too. But you could say with child. You could say knocked up. Like, probably you could say what are other things besides pregnant? But for some reason, the word pregnant got kind of that treatment, which I do not fucking understand. Nick Rich says, George Carlin, 7 words you can't use. Let's hear them. What are they? I don't know. Fuck, shit, tits, cunt. Is that one of them? I don't know. You guys have to help me with the rest. Big Hook. Bull feces is okay. You can say bull feces, yeah. Greg Edmund, shit, piss, F. Paul Mannion, a way of swearing without actually swearing, i.e. your fatherless son. You're a fatherless son. Jupiter Judy, Brenda, yeah, our house 2, dial yellow soap, yum. Julie says, tits just feels rude to me. It's what I was taught as a kid, that shit sticks with you. So I guess it's a rude thing. I guess there are some words that are more polite than others. Even when we're talking about profanity, I guess that's profanity. There's a polite profanity, and then there's a rude profanity. I guess that's the difference. Okay, well now I'm understanding a little bit more, I guess. You don't like my music? I've never been a boob man. I prefer nice hips and thighs. So you can say that. Brenda Trilla said, we had to say expecting with child, etc. Yeah, expecting with child. Yeah. Why couldn't you say pregnant? What was so bad about saying pregnant? But you could get around it by saying all these other terms. Jeannie G said, bloody or bugger were the swear words when growing up. Got backhanded saying shit. Wow. Yeah. It's kind of crazy, I think. Jupiter Judy says, we were 3 girls. Dad called them boobs. Don't run up and down stairs giving yourself a bloody nose and 2 black eyes. That's funny. Yeah, I guess it is. I guess these are the subtleties of speech, the subtleties of language, where there is, I thank you, Jolie, for pointing that out. About, there is a rudeness, and there is things that are more polite, even though they mean the same. And I guess that is the big difference. So that is kind of enlightening to me. At 63 years old, you've enlightened me, Jolie. A little bit. So I appreciate that. Human F Being is chiming in. Thanks for Human F Being for coming in here. Says shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. So that was it. I think I got most of those. And I think that still stands today, at least on over-the-air stuff. On cable, they say this shit all the time, but on over-the-air broadcast, that still pretty much stands. Jupiter Judy says freaking was our word. Yeah, freaking, friggin', fudge. Gina Maynard says Puritan zealots on the Mayflower, righteous projection. Jupiter Judy, maybe it's the original meaning. Jolie says, my daughter just went inside, so I have to control of the speaker now. I love that this conversation is being broadcast to the neighbors. I apologize if I'm going to get you in trouble. But I don't know. Big Hook says, see you next Tuesday. Yeah. I just actually learned that one too recently. Someone was talking about, I guess it was Liberal Dan always says that. And I never heard that expression until Liberal Dan. That's how sheltered life I've lived, I guess. Greg Edmond is here. Says people thought it okay to say pregnant about animals, but not women. Why? I don't understand that. I didn't understand it back then. I don't understand it now. You don't like my music? Says Tata should be the new official name for breasts. Now tatas, I've used that term before. Chris says, I don't get loophole swear words. The meaning is ultimately the same. It's just words. But I do buy into the whole politeness, rudeness thing that Jolie was mentioning. But still, yeah, it is kind of funny though how we get so upset about words. But I would get upset. Like I didn't want my kids using the F word, when they were little. They do now all the time, but I know I didn't really punish them, but I would be like, "Hey, watch your mouth," or something like that. Paul Mannion says, "Got to love you and leave you, my friend." To love you and leave my friends until the next time. All right, Paul Mannion, thanks so much for checking in over there from across the pond, as we like to say. Thanks for being here, and we will see you on the next one. We will see you Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Nick Rich says, expletives have their place, and this is one of those places, apparently. Well, Nick, I kind of just go with it. If I say it, I say it. If I don't, I don't. Sometimes I might regret it, because once it's out there, and I might be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, Jupiter Judy says the word tit is from 11th century. Torby Cat says correct anatomy words are always less insulting. Like breasts and penises. I don't know. You don't like my music. Ironically, euphemisms for genitals are funnier and less rude than the proper terms. Is that so? A bit of a contradiction there from Torby Cat, I would say. Jolie says, keep it coming. All right, neighbors, are you ready for this one? No. Big Hook says, Misha, dirty mind is a horrible thing to waste. And, Triplet says, Benny Loco calls them chesticles. Oh, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that before. Tim Farrell's here, so I think, do we have both our Tims here now? Hi, gang. Hi, Tim. Good to see you. Jenny G says, I hate the C word. The C word is really harsh. That is a harsh one. I usually save that for the worst people. You know, MTG and Bobert seem to come to mind. I might throw a C word at them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, baby? Jupiter Judy says, they had TV censors back then, and I was in advertising. Oh, yeah. I think they still do have TV censors. Chris says, my sister-in-law says, mother junker. What the fuck sense does that make? Yeah, well, it's just a way of, saying it without saying it. You know what I mean? Nick Rich says, I can swear like a sailor too, and I usually do. MJ Daniel and Pee Wee tape is the funniest. Pee-pee tape is the funniest. I said Pee Wee. And pee-pee tape is the funniest. Pee-pee tape. When they talk about the pee-pee tape. Greg Edmund says, I prefer to call someone full of hog slurry. You are full of hog slurry, sir. And a good day to you. Big Hook says, if cake is shaped and looks like a cat, could you be accused of eating pussy? Well, I don't know, because it's still just a cake. At the end of the day, it's still just a cake. Jupiter Judy, I say it's back ass words sometimes. But I guess like I've never been one to go into a church and start cussing. There, and why is that? I mean, it's because you're conditioned that in certain company you don't cuss. Like when I was a kid, when I was at school, I would cuss, but when I was at home, I very rarely cussed. Unless I was in a really bad, heated argument with my mom or something, and I might throw out some cuss words. But that was kind of the exception. In our everyday speech, I never did really cuss until I was maybe a teenager, like, 8th or 9th grade. Maybe I felt comfortable enough letting out a few little cuss words here and there, but it was very tricky. It was, so it is different. Like in certain company, like in front of my grandma, I don't think I would cuss and stuff. But at school, I was like, cussing my fucking head off. So I guess we just get conditioned in certain places or certain company, you can say certain things, and and I guess that's what kind of gives the words power and meaning. Like if you're just using them all the time, they kind of lose their impact, I think, too. So, that's kind of what happens with the F word and with the MF word. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad thing. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. But but the point is, I've tempered my language or depending on where I'm at, like in a classroom at school, I'm not throwing the F-bombs all over the place, but out in the schoolyard, I would be, so I don't know. MJ Daniel, Carlos, 7 words you can't say on TV. Yeah, we already went over those. Mish says, know your audience. Yeah, that's true. Know your audience. Chris says, I prefer cunt over bitch because bitch is an insult to my field dog. Yeah, I get that. You don't like my music says, look up the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore sketch. This bloke came up to me. It's hilarious. Yeah, and they were a great comedy team. Very, very funny. Fancy said, I said shit in front of my grandmother and she washed my mouth out with soap. Jupiter Judy and TJ, it was a respect thing. But here's the thing, okay? My brother and sister, my brother is 16 years younger than me and my sister's 18 years. So we're 16 and 18 years apart. And I was kind of astonished when I would come home to visit, and when my brother and sister were, let's say they were, 10, or not 10, maybe like 12, 13, 14, 15, and I would go and visit, the family. And they were fucking using, especially my brother, more than my sister, I think, but they would say the F word. They would right in front of my mom and dad, and my mom and dad wouldn't say a fucking thing. I mean, the way they were raised and the way I was raised, it seems like it was completely different. And maybe that's why my brother and sister became right-wing nut jobs. Before maggots, they were right-wing nut jobs. Now they're maggots. But I don't know if there's any correlation there or what, but we were raised differently. Something happened in that 16-year interim, the way they raised me and the way they raised them. I mean, or maybe it's just me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was just the way I probably could have gotten away with all that just like them, but I just didn't try it so much. Like I said, unless we were in a really heated argument or fight or something. Brenda Triple says, Roxanne Armfield, I was going through a lot because of a crap stepdad and just snapped. No one had ever called me something like that. Big Cook says, if you're a Catholic, you're constantly sinning and asking for forgiveness. Confession must be the priest's favorite part of church. Oh yeah, he gets to listen to all the juicy stuff, I guess. Greg Edmond says, I like fun words people use to replace naughty body bits like hoo-ha and winky. Yeah, it's kind of funny how inventive we can get with the words. Jenny G says, we all modify our language for different situations. Gino Maynard says, racial slurs never really lose their impact on their targets. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm thinking about the N word, and that's a tough one because I remember in the it was kind of like the early 2000s. It seemed like the aughts and maybe the early teens of the 2000s. So going back 12, 15 years ago, close to 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, it seemed like rap music was becoming so much in the mainstream. It was kind of taking over rock and pop maybe, and the N-word was being used so much by rap stars. And even though like on the radio it would be bleeped out or they would do a radio edit or whatever, but still if you're listening on like a CD then or whatever, or even back then you still had, I think Spotify was around then too, and you were hearing unedited versions. It seemed like the N-word was just really in the house a lot, or on your radio in the car or whatever, and it seemed like more and more white kids were using it, but not in the slur part of it, the ending with the A instead of the ER type of thing, right? And it did seem like it was getting more and more acceptable, like to use it in that context, in the hip hop kind of way, and in just and it seemed like white kids and black kids were actually getting along and being friends, and white kids, it seemed like they could say the A ending version of the N-word, okay, and not get their ass beat. It was like acceptable. And then my observation, it seems like the whole thing changed overnight when, was it Michael Richards, remember Kramer, when he did his thing on stage, when he was doing a stand-up bit, and then he just sort of riffed about the N-word because I guess he was being heckled, and then and I think there were some black people in the audience, and then he started going into this, I think just a total impromptu riff on the N-word, and he was actually using the N-word because I think he felt at that time that things had loosened up to the point where a white person could say that, even if it wasn't the ER ending in a very, you know, totally racist way, but in the A ending, which is the more hip, you know, kind of way. I think he felt comfortable enough that he could say that and not get in trouble. But boy, was he wrong, because overnight it killed his career. And then also overnight, I saw all of these kind of old timers, like black leaders from the 60s and 70s or whatever, coming out on news shows saying you can't do that. This can't go unchallenged, or, you know, there needs to be repercussions for that and all this kind of stuff. And basically, his career was killed at that point. And also, it seems like the kids couldn't say it. The white kids couldn't say the A ending N-word anymore either. My point is, it seemed like the white kids and the black kids were actually putting all this stuff aside and saying, fuck it, we don't care. We're just having a good time. We're listening to music. We're sharing music. We're sharing our time together. And this is how we talk. And if you old fuckers don't like it, then fuck you. But then as soon as that Michael Richards thing happened, it seemed like that shit just stopped. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm kind of out of the loop. I don't hang around with young kids anymore. My kids aren't teenagers anymore, and they're off doing their thing. But maybe I'm totally off base. But that was just my perception. At least going back to like those, 15 years ago or whatever it was. It just seemed like that whole Michael Richards thing kind of changed it all and put us back into this, like, it's not acceptable. Whites can't say it. You're a racist if you say it, and we're not going to allow you to say it. And if you do say it, we're going to kill you and kill your career. Not kill you, but, you know, kill your career or whatever. We're going to make you pay for it. And that was coming from the older black people, I think, not the younger kids, the teenagers in the 20s. I think a lot of them were just cool with it. If you said the N-word with the A ending, and you're just listening to hip hop and rap, and you're just having a good time with your friends and partying, I don't think they gave a fuck anymore. But the older generations weren't going to let that happen. They weren't going to let the progress happen. I think I was seeing progress. Now, I don't know. Like I said, I might be out of the loop. I don't know what's going on nowadays in 2024. Maybe you guys can update me. Gina Maynard says, Richard Pryor almost single-handedly resurrected the N-word into mixed society. But yeah, and even though there was some of that, even back in the Richard Pryor days, where it was becoming like more acceptable. But there is a difference between the A ending and the ER ending, ER. And context is everything. But still, even in that certain context that I'm talking about, I just wouldn't even, I just, as a 63-year-old man, white man, I'm not even gonna, you know, attempt it. MJ Daniel says, best use of some racial slurs was Blazing Saddles, co-written by Richard Pryor. Yeah, and that movie was so funny and so great, and it did point out, but that was pointing out, I think, the racist usage of it by the white people. You know, that was pointing out how racist a lot of white people are. Brenda Triplett says, my son said it once in high school to a friend. He learned real fast it was unacceptable. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever watched that show, Dear White People. Was it called Dear White People? And that kind of, I guess it was season 1. That whole season 1 thread was kind of based on that. About college kids being at a party, and you had white kids and black kids, and they're dancing, just having a good time. And one of the songs playing, as they're dancing, a white guy is dancing and he's like kind of singing along with the song, and in the song is the N word, and he just went and he sang it, and then the black guy that was kind of out there dancing, and they were friends apparently, or I think they were friends, or they knew each other. They weren't enemies or whatever. But the black kid got really offended by it, and then that created this whole scene where cops get in, they got guns, and then it's this whole tension about it, black people getting shot, and there was that whole tension going on, and like he might get shot. So that was a really good episode, really good show, I think, that kind of dealt with that. And about the confusion, it's like, hey, look, we're dancing. It's in the song. We're all dancing, having a good time. We're grooving. I'm just sort of singing along with the song. And now because I did that, I gotta catch shit. And then the black kid's like, yeah, because you don't get to say that word. And I can understand. After 400 years of slavery and having that word mean what it meant. It meant when a white person used that word on a black person, it meant you are an animal basically, or you are not human. You are a piece of property, and I can call you whatever I want, and I can treat you whatever I want. And the N word, it encapsulates all of that in that one word. So I fully can understand, why a black person can use it kind of as a way of saying, fuck you, we're taking the word back. Okay, we're going to take this word and it's going to be our word now. But you can't say it because it's your people and, your ancestors or whatever. Even if you're not a racist and you've never owned anybody, you live in this freer society or whatever. Still, there's a lot to make up here for, and so you're not allowed to say that. That's our word now, and I have no problem with that. I really have no problem with that. But it is a very nuanced, subject, I think. It says, you don't like my music. We have to understand satire. Blazing Saddles was making fun of racism, not celebrating it. Right, I think I said that. Gino Mitter says, John, refer to a black French child or parent as a N-word, either pronunciation. See what happens. It's never actually okay. I'm not saying that. I agree that that's not right. I'm talking about in social situations, with kids that were hanging out, other teenagers that were hanging out together, black and white. I saw it with my own eyes. Were saying the N-word and without any problem. And it was the ending in the A. I saw it with my own eyes, and I thought, wow, this is really, we're making kind of progress here. I saw it as progress. Now, in your scenario, that's a completely different thing. And also, it could be, depending on that relationship of those two families, it might be okay. You don't know. But it is a touchy subject. And something that I will not, I'm not going to start throwing the N-word around and try to claim like, I have a right to say it or I'm not going to upset people or whatever. MJ Daniel says, you've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land, the common clay of the New West, morons. I guess the quote was totally improvised by Gene Wilder. It's probably been 30 years since I saw the movie, so I can't really comment on it. I do remember the N-word was used a lot. And it was like making fun of, I thought it was making fun of white racists, as I remember it. You don't like my music. When white people complain about black people using the N-word, I can't help but sense jealousy. Or just a total unawareness, Jenny G, I hate racism. My late partner was a different race to me. I hate racism too. Mish says, Brenda Triplet, there were some kind ones, but the dorm mothers were vile, cranky gossips. Brenda Triplet says, I'm French, German, Basque, Portuguese, and Spanish, so I never know what boxes to check on forms. I just put Caucasian for me. MJ Daniel says, I have seen reaction videos on YouTube from younger black creators that use the word a lot. They sound foolish in my opinion, but are welcome to keep saying it if they want. Yeah. Roxanne Arfield, because they are entitled to everything, you don't like my music. I'm getting really dry mouth. So I had to down me some water. Greg Edmond says it's why Pollock jokes. Can I say Pollock? Jokes aren't PC, they're inherent meanness and real insult. Yeah, that's true. I don't really go around telling Pollock jokes. Probably saying Pollock is probably bad enough. Without even going any further than that. James Williams says, notice they never have a box of American or Canadian. Oh, a box for American and Canadian. I just put Caucasian. I think Caucasian is usually one of the choices. Because I am pretty much high in 57. Although my mom would say, you're half Norwegian, you're half Irish, and you have, German, French, Native American, on both sides. All this stuff. So I'm like, well, that's over 100. That's over 100%. Because if I'm 50% this and 50% that, I can't have anything else. But anyhow, I don't know how it all broke down. I think actually Norwegian. I guess I would be. Actually, I would probably only be like an eighth Norwegian. And I probably only would be like an eighth Irish. Maybe less. And then God knows what else. Like I said, height 57. So I just put Caucasian. I have no problem checking off Caucasian. Yeah, that's what I am, I think. I never have done the medium 23 thing. I keep wanting to do that. I'm probably black. I don't know. James Williams, born in America but identify as German. What the fuck? Torbycat says the U.S. House of Rep has voted to make lynching a federal hate crime in the country. Comes over 100 years after lawmakers first attempted to criminalize lynching. The Senate passed it in 2018. Isn't that something? Talk about why I'm not exactly on board with incrementalism. There are some things that should have been done a long, long time ago. Like 100 years ago. Should have been a no-brainer. But better late than never. Come on, House. That's why we need to win the House. Hakeem Jeffries will get that thing through in a second. MJ Daniel, Blazing Saddles was totally meant to mock people like that. Yeah, I was mocking. Absolutely. Turby Cat, maybe why racism is so bad because a lot of people don't recognize that they are still not represented in the U.S. I think racism is so bad is because the racists are just assholes. Because we have racists. Racism is so bad is because we have racists. That's why. James Williams says nationality has nothing to do with ethnicity. Fancy says you need an ancestry test. Yeah, I do. I want to take one. I'm going to do one of those. Chris says I was adopted, so I have no idea about my ancestry. Someday I might do a 23andMe thing. Yeah, Chris, let's do it. You and me both. You do yours, I'll do mine, and then we'll talk about it at a future show. You don't like my music, says Scots, Irish, but mainly mammalian, like a mammal. I think I'm mostly mammal, hopefully. Brenda Triplett says white supremacists should have to take a 23andMe test. Some of them have, and they have found that they have, like, you know, African American blood in them and stuff. But I'm not sure if it makes any difference with their racism or not. Jenny G says, my son says he hates being called Caucasian, but he can't really claim any specific race. As far as forms are concerned, filling out a form, I don't care about if I have to check the Caucasian box. I guess if somebody came up to me and said, hey, you Caucasian? I would be like, yeah, what? What do you want? I don't know. It'd be kind of a weird way of being addressed, but you know. Nick Rich says, I'm French Ukrainian Canadian, a frook. You are a frook. Mish says, Chris, I am also adopted. My dad found me a few years ago. Best experience ever. That sounds nice. It's a kind of heartwarming story there. James Williams, good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon to Roxanne. MJ Daniel says, I am Irish on both my mother and father's families, and a DNA test came back 43% Scandinavian. Gino Maynard says, if you believe in evolution, you're all black. One drop MFs. Yeah. The origin of life, right, is from Africa. Big Hook. Robin Williams was asked in Germany why the comedy scene was not so great, and Robin replied, perhaps you killed off a lot of funny people. Wow. Leave it to Robin Williams, man, with the zinger. Poof, right there. Below the belt. You don't like my music, says, I hate being called Caucasian. As far as I know, my ancestors never lived in the Caucasus. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. I don't like stress over it. Greg Edmond says, I discovered that I am part Neanderthal, 1.4%. Or as they say, Neanderthal. I guess the correct pronunciation is Neanderthal, but I grew up, we always said Neanderthal in school even, right? And then some years later, I heard people say Neanderthal. So maybe that's just a difference between a European pronunciation and an American pronunciation. Tim Nelson, Sweden, Finland. Alrighty. MJ Daniel says, some of the worst bigots in the U.S. are also wealthy and powerful. True dat. Let's see. Torby Cat is Sweden, Dutch, and Native American. That sounds like a nice combo. Jenny G says, European appears on a lot of forms here. European, Oh, and Jenny G, you're in New Zealand. Roxanne Arfield says, that's disturbing, MJ Daniel. You don't like my music, says, I'm Scots Irish for all intents and purposes, but my dad traced his side back to the Belgian Huguenots. The Huguenots. I've heard of them. MJ Daniel says, my Celtic ancestors most likely came from the Caucasus region originally. See, I always say Celtic because of the Boston Celtics. But isn't it actually pronounced Celtic? That's another thing that confused me. You don't like my music? Says many Irish are originally Basque from Spain, or Basque. I guess it could be Basque. Chris says, I need to get a copy of the DNA report that was done on my late husband for the kids. Yeah, do that. Get that report. James Williams says, it is what it is. Could be why it takes 250 years to change anything. We need to move a little faster. Big Hook. I miss Robin Williams so bad. He would have made Trump's life so miserable and ours a lot more bearable. Yeah, Robin Williams, it's really sad. I mean, he was going through a lot of pain, I think. You know, emotional pain. I think physical pain. I think he was suffering from some disease. And I think he was going through really great bouts of depression. And it's just really sad and unfortunate that couldn't have been, dealt with or something. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad because he was a funny guy, and I think a really sort of sensitive person, a really sensitive soul, But yeah. Jolie says, I will always pronounce the TH. I refuse to say the hard T for Neanderthal. I'm willing to die on this hill. All right, Jolie. We all have our causes. And that's yours. You don't like my music, says and Celtic Football Club. Or is it Celtic Football Club? I'm still confused. Brenda Triplet says, Bosque. I'm going to say Bosque, because I think that's how you say it. People were self-isolated and had their own language that was difficult to learn. Those Bosques, aren't they just... That sounds like a Bosque. Being isolated and hard to deal with. Roxanne Arfield says, I agree. Big hug, big hug. Okay. Torpy Cat, was it Parkinson's? I don't know. It might have been. He had something going on. And he had a lot of stuff going on. I think physically and emotionally and mentally. And unfortunately, it got him. It got him. Mish says that Chris, my ex-husband, is also adopted but won't test. My side being complete along with my kids having done tests has answered a lot. Just filled in the blanks. Jenny G says so many funny people have underlying depression. It might be the way they're dealing with their depression is by being funny, I guess. Nick Rich says it's 4:20. That was about a minute ago, apparently, in the Eastern time zone. You don't like my music, says in Roman times there were a lot of European migrations. Mish, Robin Williams, and George Carlin. Love Robin Williams and George Carlin. Yeah, I love both those guys, I guess. Bernard Triplet says many of us learn to cope with our difficulties by using humor. Yep. Greg Edmond, Neander is a valley in Germany. Shouldn't we go with their pronunciation? I don't know. There's a lot of things in America that we just, go by our own way. MJ Daniel says the three I really wish were around today so they could tear into MAGA and the GOP are Williams, Carlin, and Zappa. Yeah, Zappa, another one. I think they would have had a thing or two to say. Yeah, Zappa, boy, he was a good one. Chris says, Mish, we are so white that we glow in the dark. When my youngest daughter goes out in the sun, she will blind you. Big Hook. Him and Craig Ferguson conversing was the funniest stuff ever. Craig was the only one capable of keeping up with Robin. I don't think I ever saw that. James Williams says, it has always been pronounced Celtic in my family. Yeah, I know, it's always Celtic except when it comes to the Boston Celtics. I guess that's just the way of Americans not pronouncing something that the way a European would pronounce something. I guess we're just funny that way. You don't like my music? Says there is a theory that Homo sapiens outcompete Neanderthals because of their relationship with dogs. Wow. That's quite a theory. I never even thought of that. Mish says, Zappa! Human F. Bean says, there's more stupidity than hydrogen around, and it has a longer shelf life. That's a Frank Zappa quote. You don't like my music, and Glasgow Celtic. See, now I keep saying Celtic. My first inclination is to say Celtic, and it's all because of the Boston Celtics. If it wasn't for the Boston Celtics, I probably would just say Celtic. James Williams says, at this time, all they have to do is say, I told you so. I told you so. Paul Mannion, I'm back. I'm English, Irish, French, and a little bit Cornish. Hello, Paul. You just couldn't resist this part of the conversation, could you? And notice how when Paul comes in, I do that. I start doing this with my shoulder and my arm, and I don't know why. Oh, good day, Governor. That's why, because I do this. But thanks, Paul Mannion. I'm glad you came back. Always good to see Paul in the chat, sharing his lineage. Greg Edmond says it's them guys from Boston. From Baston, yeah, from Baston, however they talk over there in Baston, Park the car in Boston. I don't know, Baston. Now I'm really confused. Roxanne Harfield says you can probably find them on YouTube somewhere. Trucker John. Probably. I think everything is on YouTube. Mish says, where is Ferguson these days? Heading to Google. Haven't heard much from him at all since he went off the show, the Night Late show he had. Which I thought he was really good at. I thought he was funny, yeah, for sure. MJ Daniel says, I use the soft C for the NBA team and the hard C for the people. Probably a good rule to go by. You don't like my music, says, Homo sapiens hunting parties utilize dogs. Dogs also acted as early warning systems. And they still do. By God. Paul Mannion, please don't. I know. I can't help myself. I just picture all these English people walking around London going like this. Hello, good day. Top of the morning. Hello, Governor. I'm a terrible person, Paul. I'm horrible, I know. Mish says, Nick Rich, she's just a monster, and a Neanderthal would have done that to eat. I missed something from Nick. Sorry, Nick. You don't like my music? Neanderthals ate dogs, so they're bastards. The Neanderthals they're the bastard people. Big Hook, John, treat yourself to search Jay Leno's Fly, and you will find the Craig Ferguson library and all the comedians and beautiful women Craig wooed. He was wooing him, was he? Why is he on Jay Leno's Fly? What is Jay Leno's Fly? Jay Leno has a fly? Greg Edmond, Ferguson was hilarious with female guests. Fancy is laughing. Ginny G says, my dog is a great security system. Absolutely. That's their job. You got one job. I'm looking at you, my imaginary dog. You had one job. And you let the burglars in. And now you're looking at me with those puppy dog eyes and you want me to give you a treat? Well, we don't have any treats because the burglars took them all. No. And scene. I don't know. I just did a little dog improv thing there. Let's see. Nick Rich says the gravel pit episode with Christy Nome. Yeah, that was horrible. That was pretty horrible. Brenda Triplett says Ferguson was so quick-witted and got away with a lot. Paul Mannion, even the Neanderthals had morals. I'm sorry, Paul. Unlike the Crumpists. Jolie, hello, Governor. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, they're just walking around jolly old England. Hello, Governor. You don't like my music? Says dogs are also pack animals, so humans can imprint themselves on them. I haven't seen too many dogs with, carrying gear around. But maybe the really big ones back in the olden days, like horses. He says. Chris says my dog goes into the bathroom with me and sits between my feet, looking at the door. I think for me, that's kind of going over the line. I'm like, you can stay out for this one. I'm talking to my imaginary dog again. I'm like, you can sit outside the door. Okay? We'll be good. It's okay. Trust me. And scene. No, I don't have to do that every time, do I? Jenny G says a lot about gnome. Yeah. Disgusting person, yep. Human F Bean says, yeah, there's not much point in a beware of tortoise sign. Don't tell that to Jolie. Birdie Triplet says, I always wonder why pets are desperate to get into bathrooms with us. Mine don't. Or mine didn't. Big Hook says, name of the channel, and Craig did a spoof of Jay Leno catching a fly. His Michael Caine and Sean Connery spoofs are legendary. Paul Mannion. All right, mate. Don't forget the bowler hats. Umbrellas. Yeah, absolutely. I need to get some props. I should get me a bowler hat and an umbrella, and every time you come on, you know. You don't like my music, laughing out loud. I just mean that humans can assume the role of pack leader. That gives us control over dogs, horses, sheep, etc., etc., etc. Chris says, then a cat or two comes in, and it's just a party. Party time in the bathroom. It's party time. I'm going to ignore that one. All right, Nick Rich, gotta go, folks. Catch you later. Thank you so much, Nick. It is after 2 hours, 22 minutes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I need to go. I need to go too. So, Nick, thanks for being here, first of all. And yeah, I need to check. I need to check out. I need to get going. It's getting late. It's 1:31 here in the afternoon. Yeah, I got stuff to do. What am I thinking? And I got to get out and get some more 5-star reviews on my my Uberin stuff. So, yeah, what am I thinking? But let me just, I just want to, let's go ahead and blow this up a little bit. Just end it with talking about Joe Biden. Tax the rich, invest in families. It sounds like a good combination to me. Let's do all that stuff. Where am I at? Let me go over here. No, wait. Over here? There I am. Hi. Hey, let's vote blue. Vote for Joe Biden. Vote for Democrats. Come on, Nevada. I know you can do it. Don't be, don't be that state that goes backwards. Come on, Nevada. We can vote for Joe. We can vote for Jackie Rosen. Come on, you can do it. All you guys across the country, let's get the blue going. Get the big blue wave going. All right, can we do that? Can you guys do that for old Trucker John? Can you get the blue? Get the big blue wave. I know you can do it. Anyhow, guys, I guess that's about it. We'll be back. We will be back Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time for a little truck talk. Talking with the Trucker John, or whatever I'm calling it these days. 9 a.m. Pacific. And just be on the lookout for stuff. I'm going to try to do some stuff for members only. I'm going to try to do some walks at some point. I don't know. I'm kind of doing some other stuff, but we'll get some more stuff going. Besides just me sitting here, we'll do some stuff outside. Maybe next month. I don't know. But be on the lookout. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. You guys are awesome. I love spending some time with you and shooting the shit. And you guys putting up with me. Putting up with my my rudeness and inappropriateness sometimes. I appreciate you guys. You're still here. We had a great turnout. You guys are awesome. We had 75 thumbs up, so that's pretty good. Make sure you hit that share. I know all of you have been hitting the like button. You've been hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the share button. Share the show out. You know, I know you guys want to kind of hoard me. Is that the word, hoard? You guys, you know, but you can share. It's okay to share. You know, it's okay. The internet's big enough where we can have, I can have 1 million subscribers and still love you all. Let's make that a goal. 1 million subscribers for Trucker John. That should be our goal. Anyhow, I'm just kidding. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it. So I couldn't think of a better way to spend my time than hanging out with you guys and just shooting shit, talking about the things we talk about. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, if not sooner, if I do some impromptu. But I think it's, for now, I don't think I'm doing impromptus. I think I'm sticking to the schedules. But we'll see. You never know. And that whole rubbing my nose thing was gross. I apologize for that. That's not a good way to end the show, with me rubbing my nose like that. And that's a horrible image to leave you guys on. Anyhow, all right, guys. I'll see you Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the likes, subscribes, the sharing, all that stuff that you guys do. It helps the show. It helps us so much. Helps us grow. And I need to move over a little bit. Helps us to grow and get out there amongst the algorithms. The algorithms. Speaking of algorithm, congrats to Liberal Dan. He got 1,000 subs. So congrats to Liberal Dan on that. And we'll end it on that. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. Show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you, baby, to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyme could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it